Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Uh-huh. Want some candy?
I do it like an old banker. My cartoon.
All right. What's up, all you little dick wrinkles? Welcome back to another episode of Monster Candy Podcast with Oubliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb, myself,
Hi.
Screaming E from the Memphis Murdermen, and Oubliette brought a guest with us tonight.
Hello.
I did. This is Niki from Middle Aged Queers.
Woo!
Hey, y'all. Woo.
All band people, what can go wrong?
Nothing.
And also an amazing photographer.
Oh, I thank you.
See, you're not just a band person. You're
I'll
No.
throw that in here. You're welcome.
I do many
Yeah.
things.
We like that. Well, welcome. Thanks for doing this with us.
None of us are just band people.
This is true. Many talents.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about Talk to Me, the 2023, although I think it came out premiered in 2022 ghostly
Yeah, I think
horror
it was-
flick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, it's time to talk a little bit about some
It's time for horror news. I
Yeah.
actually have some I'm kind of excited about.
I
It was
Ooh.
weird.
I only have two, and they're not. Well, one's news, and then one's just an observation of something me and you, Oubliette, discussed yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, usually it's kind
Wonderful.
of like slim pickings, but I actually had to like curb the amount I wanted to talk about since we're going to record a lot in December quickly.
Yes.
I mean, normally, to those of you listening, not quickly at all.
It's weird. There's horror news in December, the month of Christmas.
Well, the
Okay.
holidays are made for horror.
I
That's
guess so.
true. It's the biggest suicide time.
Oh,
Lord.
Wah.
But that's bad horror, people. If you're listening to this, it's bad. It's not even, I won't even call it horror because I enjoy horror. It's bad. Don't do that.
Yes. Or
Bad.
yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll just go
I
with
think-
don't do that.
I think
Unless
it's a
you're
given,
unless you're chronically ill and like everything sucks and it's just going to bring your family into debt and it's something you want to do, then I support it.
yeah. Okay, then.
Other countries
Yeah.
allow it, man. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I agree.
Anyways,
Okay. Yeah.
it's going to happen. we get off track.
Train derailed. Anyway, yeah. Go ahead, Oubliette, since you got some actual news.
So, this dude, Brian Fuller, he's done a bunch of TV shows. He writes and produces them. He did Hannibal, Pushing Daisies, American Gods, Dead Like Me, Star Trek Discovery, Queer for Fear, Eli Roth's History of Horror, which was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's done some good television shows. He is doing his very first movie. And he's, I think, writing and directing it. It's filming in Budapest. And I'll tell you
Okay.
what it's about before I tell you who signed up for it. So it's about an 8-year-old girl who asks her neighbor to help her get revenge on the monster under her bed that she believes ate her family. And it's called Dust Bunny.
Okay.
Ooh.
And it's got Sigourney Weaver.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's got I know I'll botch his name. It's got Mads Mikkelsen, who was Hannibal.
Oh, okay.
Come on, you know who Mads
Nice.
is. And then also crazy last name that I'm gonna botch. It's got David Doshmalchian in it, who you would know from the Boogeyman. He was the guy in the beginning and he's also in the last voyage of the Demeter.
Oh,
I have
okay.
not seen that one.
He's the creepy kind of Crispin Glover aired
Right,
guy.
right.
He looks like your like emo nephew, grown up.
Right.
He's not the main dude from the Voyage of the Demeter, the guy that was from like Game of Thrones, the old man,
The captain.
Mm-mm.
No.
the captain. No,
No, he's he has like he always has the black kind of side part. He looks like he's reminiscent of Crispin Glover.
Yes.
nice.
But yeah,
Well, that
and
sounds
like
cool.
yeah, he was the one that was in Boogeyman that played the kind of disturbed guy because I remember reading about him taking that role on because he had actually just gone through a bout of kind of depression and suicidal tendencies, so he thought that might help him, I guess, process.
Oh my God, that totally
it.
tied into your little rant before the
I
horror
know.
Wow.
I didn't even mean to do that. So anyways, it sounds like a fun concept to me. I love that it's called Dust Bunny because I think that it's going to have maybe some camp to it or fun, possibly. And they're saying it's going to be a throwback to like the family horror movies of the 80s, like Poltergeist, stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'm interested. Pushing Daisies was really funny. I liked American Gods first season. I fell off after that, but I would love to revisit it. And I liked Hannibal. So I don't know. It could be cool. And that cast is pretty solid. So my other one, because I won't do my third one because I think it might be yours, E.
Okay. Or you could do it.
My other one,
touch tips, whatever.
I could. Yeah, we could touch tips. My second one, it isn't huge horror news, but Eli Roth has been doing a lot of interviews because of Thanksgiving's success.
Yep.
And he, in all of them, or a lot of them, has kind of gone back to about how he really wants to revisit Hostel and Cabin Fever.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And that he would be the one directing and like writing most of it. He's like, if I do it, like I'm going to do it. It's not going to be me producing it. If he's the one at the helm, I'm excited for both of those. In those franchises, the ones he did were always the best. So that is exciting.
Have we forgiven? Oh,
no, go.
Have we forgiven him after the Green Inferno? Are we?
We just talked about this, I think, on one of the last ones. Like, who gets a bunch of cannibals high and expects to not get eaten?
Who doesn't?
I mean,
sure.
I still love Cabin Fever, but that last one was bad.
It was, but I feel like with Thanksgiving, he's getting back to what he does well. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I
haven't.
It was better. It's
okay.
good. So it's back more in his stride. Yeah, Green Inferno was, I think, too ambitious for him, and it just what I think he thought would be funny or amusing, or it was just not.
No.
So we'll put that aside for now, if he continues to do things like what he just did. And then the last one is that Bruce Campbell just threw out that they're going to be releasing Evil Deads every couple of years.
What?
And to expect
movies?
a whole bunch more movies. Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's still, I'm sure, done acting in them, but he is going to be a part of them. But maybe
kind of acting because he did the voice, right?
Yeah, the priest in that one record on Evil Dead Rises. I mean, he'll be a part of them, but I don't know that he'll come back as Ash. I mean, I hope he will. He's got to miss it.
He's got to, yeah. I mean, he's got to do some sort of weird cameo like John Carpenter would do, or Stanley just pop up.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm sure he'll do that. I just don't think that he's going to come back full time as Ash, as like a full character in the movies. But I support it if he wants to.
100%.
Huh. Well, that should be interesting. That movie was good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was better than I thought it was going to be, for sure. That was one I was very skeptical and protective over. And although definitely it was in a different vein of the others, I can appreciate for what it was. And I would for sure watch more
I hope
in that style.
if they're going to do a handful of them, I hope some of them are kind of campy, Evil Dead 2 like, and
Yeah.
not just all serious horror, because
I mean, they got close
yeah,
in some of the gorier scenes. I mean,
yeah,
it was gratuitous to the point of almost being silly. So I don't think it would be too far-fetched for them to go ahead and cross that bridge and get way silly with it.
yeah. Or you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe not, because I think to really capture that, it'd have to be Raimi would have to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, if
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, or else it would just kind of be weird. But I don't know
True.
if they could pull it off. I think that would be great to throw like just a complete curveball into the whole series that they're going to do.
Maybe.
Yeah, we
But
shall
we can
see.
only hope.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
That's what I got. Going into the new year with some possible shit.
Nikki, do you have anything for us today? Do you have anything for the class?
I don't have any horror news, unfortunately.
It's all right. Oubliette.
But I think all that was great, though.
Yeah, Oubliette
Thanks, guys.
came ready.
Did.
And you totally faked me out, because I thought part of your horror news was my horror news, because it had to do with Eli Roth, which was he now announced that there is going to be a Thanksgiving 2 and will come out in 2025. So
that was just low hanging fruit, buddy. I didn't go for that.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I like that. It was fun. So why not? And then
no, I'm Kate. I'm excited too. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I want all the Thanksgivings. If I can watch that every time to like enter the holiday season, I think that would really help with like cold weather seasonal depression up here in the Northeast.
For sure. And I mean,
now I need
again.
I was gonna say, now I need to watch this afterwards.
You're gonna like
Yeah,
it. It's fun.
You'll like it.
It's way more fun than I thought it would be.
I mean, there aren't enough Thanksgiving horror movies, so
no, I want to see it again. It was fun and like surprising in the right ways.
Totally. Yeah.
And dumb.
And dumb. It had it all. It had it all.
But in a good way. It's
in
a good way. Like the dumb stuff was like, yeah, that's super dumb.
So
never grow up.
Never grow up. Which is great, and I like that. On one hand, I do like that he's going to take like an entire year to write the script, because he really wants it to be good and to outdo the first one. But on the other hand, I'm thinking that might be the wrong idea. Just get it out, because you won't take it too seriously. It'll be more fun. But
totally.
I'm sure.
Oh, dude. So like 2 days after we did the episode on Thanksgiving, fucking Gina Gershwin comes into my fucking work.
Oh, right. That's right. Yep.
And I wasn't there. I wasn't fucking there. And they just put it on the end of day all willy-nilly, because like I guess nobody working cared that much. And we're like, oh, have you ever heard of her? She was in today. Cause we do like an end of day manager report, and they announce if anyone famous was in. And I was like, God damn it. Yeah. Just in Thanksgiving, and she was such a babe. Not that I would have even talked to her, but I don't know. It was cool.
I would have asked for a hug. Can I have a hug?
Yeah. Could you just? Yeah. It's so creepy. You're so creepy.
You're like, come here, can I have a hug?
I don't know if people respond well to that.
I'm sure she's used to it by now. There's probably billions of people.
I'm sure she has plenty of stories about that. You should have really just gone in for the handshake, where you like creepily but lightly hold it for too long. Like you start out with a firm handshake, like you're not a weirdo, but then kind of do the like limp, soft handshake and just don't let go. And definitely have sweaty palms when you do it, because women love that. We love it so much.
It'd be either a hug or high five. Those like the two you're getting. You're either getting a hug or a high five. Handshakes are like, eh.
See, it shows when people ask for a hug, it's like fine, and Kate and I will do it. It's when people come up and are like, "Can I just touch you?" Yeah. That's when we're really excited. It's like, fuck yeah, where do you want to touch me? Let's do this.
Hell yeah. On my thigh? Want to touch my thigh or my shoulder?
It's great. Yeah.
I'm really excited for the next time I see y'all together. Just wait.
Well, I think too, that's what's funny is because her and I are such like we're ridiculous. We'll like lift each other's boobs or just like poke each other. And between her and I, we have no boundaries. So I think sometimes after we play, we'll be joking around like that at the merch table. So then people who come up and approach us feel like we don't have boundaries with them. We're both like, oh
Let's
no,
get in
we
on the
fucking,
joke.
yeah, like we fucking have boundaries with you guys. Like, no, this is different. Her and I emotionally scissor. You guys, like, I don't know who the fuck you are. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
I just
always
let it
fun.
all go. I'm like, whatever. You're showing me some sort of affection. So if you want to be weird and creepy, get down with it. I'm all right.
I mean, I actually am weirdly down with some of it, but only if it's like super weird. Because
You're right.
I appreciate people who are obviously not on the normal wave plane of other people. So it
Right,
doesn't
right.
freak me out as much. But poor Kate is just like, code red, code red. And I'm like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. They
Like
just want to
stranger
touch,
danger.
they
Like, no,
just
no,
want to
no.
touch inside your ear. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just here to emotionally scissor you. Come on.
Yeah.
We actually own emotionallyscissoring.com
There
or
you go.
emotionalscissor.com.
Oh my
We haven't
God.
done anything with it, but we will maybe one
Should.
day. I think we've owned it for like 3 years.
Or just wait till someone tries to get it and be like, well, how much is it worth to you?
Ah, that's
If
it.
you ever pay attention when we're on stage, we do a handshake that's like this.
Yeah.
That's our emotional scissor handshake.
I like it.
The more you know.
Yeah. It's like an after
And the
school
weird
special
shit we
today.
do. Yeah.
Suicide. Don't do it. Shout out to Heather's.
Yes.
Did you eat a brain tumor for breakfast?
The other horror news I wanted to talk about was the new Godzilla King Kong trailer,
Red
which
monkey. Baby.
which shows Son of Kong possibly who turns evil or something, and then a bunch of like scenes of them running together in tandem like Tango and Cash. I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
I just like that they're like, we're gonna make a bad Kong and it's gonna be a ginger. I find
yeah,
that very offensive.
well,
Very offensive.
if they
I don't know
had
who
souls, it'd be
greenlit
different.
this, but or if they weren't inbred, hey, I've got strawberry blonde hair naturally. Fuck off.
Just saying.
Everybody loves gingers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what they say of their faces because they
yeah.
don't want to get murdered.
That's right. And then they leave. They're
Oh.
like, "Did you see their eyes? No soul."
I'm surrounded by 2 ginger cats. I can't say anything else right now.
Right?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
like a
we should
double whammy.
probably shut the fuck up before she gets killed. Nikki's gonna
Yeah.
get unalived before we start talking about
Unalived.
the movie.
Yeah,
Unalived's a new favorite word.
yeah. It's a thing now. It's like a way to get
Yeah,
around
I don't know.
censors.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
Oh, is that why? So
Yeah,
it made
that's-
me really mad at first, but then I heard that certain country, like British people, have actually said it for a while.
Yeah. I think it started to be a way to get around the code and conduct of like YouTube and Facebook
TikTok and all that.
shit, instead of saying they're gonna die or they got killed or suicide or whatever. It kind of came about
Yeah.
like the whole Epstein,
Super weird.
Hillary Clinton, like everyone dies, so they're like they
Mhm.
might get unalived. So
Oh.
yeah,
That's
It's just
so
weird
strange.
though. I'll watch like a TikTok and it's like all of a sudden a dying like 6-year-old that's been bombed is on the screen and that's not at all censored. And then the next one is some girl with like fake eyelashes and Botox and is like, you think store-bought pesto is crazy, Susie. So when I was 15, I almost got because we were doing
right.
and I'm like,
right.
why don't they just say the words? I
Yeah.
just saw a dead body. Like, what's going
Dude.
on?
TikTok, Instagram, Reels, all that
Yeah.
shit are fucking wild now. Nothing but death.
But
I'm like, oh, who's going to get murdered today? Oh, okay, this guy just got shot in the face, or this person died in a car crash, or got squashed by something, or whatever. It's fucking nuts.
I'm still waiting for Running Man to be a real thing. If everything's going to be just fucking crazy and propaganda, why can't we have Running Man?
Seriously.
oh my God. Wow. I was raised on Running Man.
See, there you
Same.
go.
Same. And like all the movies I was raised on, all this shit is almost real now. So why can't we have Running Man? I mean, I don't want someone to get framed like Arnie was to be in Running Man. But like, man, there's some like child rapists. Running Man.
Yeah.
Where's my opera singing fucking Goliath with neon lights to just like unalive them?
Politicians.
Politicians.
Perfect.
Yeah, maybe if you like lose a presidential race, you could be on Running Man.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Or
Maybe to
or
be
like-
the president, you have
Yeah.
to be in Running Man.
yes.
That actually would work.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially-
then presidents couldn't be like 90 anymore.
right. Yeah. Probably be a good thing.
Or 80 or 70 or
Yeah.
68. They would have to go back to being like 40 or 50, which wouldn't be awful.
Agreed.
I
second that agreement.
Yeah. So yeah. Ulia, what'd you think about that trailer?
I think that's going to be a movie that I'm going to buy some wine during because my local movie theater just started serving wine.
Oh shit.
And that's going to be one that I don't have to pay a lot of attention to, and it might be cool on the big screen because of like graphics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I'm expecting.
Yeah, it looks so ridiculous. Like the last one was pretty ridiculous. The action
I
scene-
like the last one.
right. I liked it too.
I liked it.
Yeah,
was
it was
fun.
fun for sure. This one looks like it's getting way more into like the buddy cop movie realm.
No,
Lethal
like
Weapon.
the end when they're right. I was just about to say that at the end when they're writing together. I was just thinking of like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. And
Yeah.
I'm like, they're fucking. It's Lethal Weapon.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, here we go.
And then and then you think about it, and is Godzilla Mel Gibson?
Maybe because he's
He
like the
might be
crazy one.
He might
Yeah.
be like
I don't-
and kind of anti-Semitic and like insane,
Mhm.
right? So maybe Godzilla is just like a fucking like weird ass racist piece of shit.
Right. And then you got King Kong.
Because
Who's
all the shit he did to Tokyo and all that's like a hate crime. That is
Totally.
a fucking hate crime.
totally. And King Kong's the old one. He's
I have
all
Godzilla tattooed on my
everything
arm,
hurts.
man.
Ugh,
Yeah.
you can hear him saying this. I'm getting too old for this shit. And then
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see though. It looks fun.
But the one Godzilla movie made it like, well, no, Godzilla versus Kong, right? The one where it made it like they were the protectors.
Right. Yeah.
I like that storyline kind of.
I mean, we'll
I
see.
remember I enjoyed it, and I remember being confused about which one I was supposed to dislike.
Right.
Same.
Like I just
I was
kind of
like,
felt
oh, sad faces everywhere.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Especially when they were out in the water.
Yeah.
There was some sad stuff going on.
Which I won't get into it now, but just a heads up, there are some
Godzilla
things.
minus.
There's some things I
one.
have questions on involving water, but that's for another episode. Is that all we
Yes.
got for horror news?
Yeah, Candy Killers, go out and watch Godzilla minus one because we're going to be doing an
Definitely.
episode on that, and we have so much to say.
We do. All right. Well, everyone, that's been Ooh.
I have a quick pre-movie segment. It's
Yes.
like 2 sentences. I have a half-read book recommendation
Ooh,
because I may not recommend it once I get all the way through.
okay.
But right now, it's fucking great. It is called Pen Pal, and it is creepy as fuck. I had no idea what it was. I had read another book and basically just typed into an app I have like books like this, and so this one came up. It is not like the other book I read. About halfway through, I looked up what it was for, and it was this guy who started posting short stories on like Reddit and different online things.
Oh, Reddit.
And they were just, I know. And immediately I read that and was like, that's funny because this is actually pretty good. So basically, he just started posting these short stories about being a kid out of order.
Huh.
Then he ended up making a book about it. And if you are somebody who cannot pay attention to books or like start them and put them down, this is not that. Each chapter and story is great. super fucking creepy, and each chapter ends on kind of like a weird, creepy twist to where you're like, ooh. So they
Okay.
do kind of, it compartmentalizes, but it becomes a bigger story. I'm almost done with it, but it might suck at the end. So sorry if you check it out and it does, but I think it's going to have a good ending. And it's scary. It's legitimately scary.
We shall
Oh,
find out.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, be on the lookout for, is it Pen Pal or Pen Pals?
Pen pal, one word,
Pen Pal.
singular.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. And the guy hasn't done anything else. His name is Dathan Orbach.
Dathan?
Dathan. Yeah.
Weird.
Or I
That
guess he
sounds like a fake name.
I'm sure it is. It's a Reddit name. I think
Yeah.
he might have come up with something right after it. But anyways, this
It's
was
not
his first.
Nathan. Dathan. Yes, that makes.
Yes, his real name is Nathan Bombush.
Yeah.
Or Bombach. He's going by Dathan Outerbach.
All right. Well,
Either that or he's like 18 and he had parents around our age who listened to too much shitty music and named him after some like singer of an awful band.
that's also a possibility.
But probably not, because this came out in 2012. So
Maybe he is the parent.
but anyways, if you're looking to get back into reading, you haven't read for a while and stuff just hasn't inspired you and you like horror, this is a good one to pick up, I think. Because like I said, each chapter is its own story. So you can kind of like get through it quickly if you want and feel gratification in each chapter.
Cool.
Very cool. I like that.
All right. Well, let's
Mhm.
get into Talk to Me, huh?
Yeah.
Woo!
All right. The summary: when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. A little accurate, but a little more exciting than what I thought of the movie.
Oh.
What do we want to start with? What we liked or what we didn't like?
I could talk about what I liked.
Okay, that's where we're going.
I don't
Nikki,
know
the
if there
floor
was
is
anything I
yours.
didn't like. I thought this movie was great. I saw it in the theaters in a dark room with not a lot of people, and it definitely had moments where I was pretty disturbed. And the whole story was it felt very kind of original, not a remake, not a reboot or a sequel or a prequel, like,
Yeah,
by two. I guess, can we call them first time directors since everything before this was just YouTube stuff?
yeah. I didn't realize how
Yeah.
young they were.
Dude, they're super young. And they actually got tagged to do a DC movie and they turned it down to do this because they'd already, like, one of them had already written it with someone else. And they were like, yeah, we don't want the millions of dollars. Like, we want to do this movie.
I mean, respect for that. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's just nice to see some like original content in horror these days with all the, so many Halloweens,
Regurgitation.
Yeah.
reboots,
Yeah.
and prequels, and it just, and yeah, I mean, I guess, a lot of people right now, or a lot of younger directors are putting out movies that are geared towards whatever generation the 20-year-olds are in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I find
Well,
it refreshing.
I like that because I feel like this movie for a younger person would be great, but it also kind of tugged on the nostalgia heartstrings for someone my age, kind of like urban legend sort of movies that had been out before. Like this reminds me of like stuff like when you'd play with a Ouija board and like the movies like with the Ouija board and all that, but it was a much more modern take without having to use the same tools that movies have always used to do that sort of application. And the hand thing was super effective and super creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah.
I just kept thinking, like, I used to have a bunch of hand models when I was running the shop, when I had my shop. So you could
Like
put
those
rings
wooden
on.
ones?
Yeah. Like the hand fucking busts or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all. I'm like, oh, you could probably fit a few rings on there. You can hang this on that. So I'm like, get out of it. No, it's not work. Yeah, I thought it was like a cool I
mean,
thought the idea was interesting for sure.
I definitely had moments where I was like, there's no fucking way. But then I started thinking about when I was a teenager and the dumb fucking shit we did. And
Yeah.
I was like, no fucking way. If we found some crazy hand that did shit like that, we would not tell our parents and we would totally keep doing it. Like, I mean, yeah, you're dumb at that age. I remember like we found out this if you touch the light switch in one of my bathrooms and the handle on the toilet, it would shock you as a kid. And me
Oh
and my
God.
brothers would literally time each other to see how long we could fucking shock each other. And when my mom found out, she was like, because she found our youngest brother, who was like 5 at the time, doing it. And she's like, what the fuck? You're killing brain cells. Why would you do this? And we were like, why wouldn't you? Even though a hand is obviously way more fucked up, but like, I could totally see us like finding something like that or being passed off and, you know, it being a cool thing to do. You get desensitized, like if you see something like that all the time or whatever. And I think these kids just got like addicted to it. And I think teenagers would do shit like that.
I mean, it seemed like they were getting some weird kind of high off of it. It just, I mean, the second time I watched it, I was like, this feels like, I mean, I felt like from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. From an outsider's perspective, I kept thinking, why would you want to do this after seeing your friend go through what looks fucking frightening as all hell? Just like, even just like the way their faces were looking.
Yeah.
The pupils and the like choking or the drowning or whatever. Like, I wouldn't want to do it, but they seemed like they were getting some kind of a physical rush. So,
yeah, that's
I mean,
exactly what I got from it. It was like, oh, this is a metaphor for addiction.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, totally. I mean, even then, I mean, I had friends. I remember kids doing the pass out game where you'd hyperventilate upside down and stand up, and someone would push on your chest, and the kids would pass out. And like, I remember a few of them, like as they woke up, almost seizuring, and then somebody would be like, "I want to be next."
Yeah,
and you're like, "Why the fuck would you do that?" Like, or even dumb shit like doing whippets and like having fucking nitrogen. Like, some people would do it so much they would almost pass out or say stupid shit, but then the next person would be like, "Give me that balloon, crack it, fill it up." It's like you're dumb, you know? Like
puffing gas, like all that shit.
That Freon, all that, like, people
completely brain dead and like tripping balls. And everyone's like, "Dude, I want to do that next."
Yeah, that looks fucking crazy and awesome.
Did it hurt? Give me some.
Let's do it. Yeah, so I did like that because as much as at first I was like, no fucking way, I was like, actually, yeah, people are pretty fucking dumb. And the second the first person saw what it did, I'm sure everybody was like, this is ours, we're coveting it, like we're gonna keep fucking doing this because it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
What else did you like about it, Nikki?
Just like the camera angles, the cinematography, the way it was shot with the rotating of the lens and stuff. You know, the whole thing, the acting was amazing. That kid, and I don't know, I didn't look up how old they were supposed to be or how old these actors were, but that kid that played Riley was phenomenal.
The brother, was that the brother?
The young brother, yeah. And I watched I utilized this as an excuse to basically just buy this movie because I mean, I thought it was great. So I watched some of the director's commentary and all the stunts he did himself, and they were all practical effects.
Oh, even cool. Even him smashing his face off the.
Yes, he did all of that himself, which is
that shit was crazy.
Yeah,
that was intense. Both times that he did that, I was not prepared and like immediately disturbed. It was impressive.
Yeah, there's definitely one thing I'll give this movie is some of the gore, and not even necessarily like the gore, but just the acts of the violence were violent.
They were,
like,
and you weren't. It's not. I mean, sometimes I feel like jump scares are really really. They're used a lot and they're really obvious. I wasn't prepared for him to immediately slam his head into a table. I really it just came out of left field and it looked disgusting.
Oh yeah. So, and we can all imagine how bad that would fucking hurt.
Oh yeah. So I was impressed. I was impressed by that extremely young, I don't know, maybe first time actor. just even taking that on was well done.
Yeah, the acting in general was good. I mean, kind of the main character, that was her first real starring role, and I think she did a great job at having this
Yeah.
kind of like trying to fit in but not, and
Being a complete asshole.
being a complete asshole.
Like,
It's funny, it's funny. So A24, which you can't lump all their films together, but you know, a lot of the horror films kind of have this slow burn
mhm.
thing to them. Like Hereditary, I think was terrifying in its own right for like one specific part or maybe two.
Yeah.
And really kind of banked on the psychological points for that. Midsummer, I thought it was fun and funny. People were really traumatized by that, but I think just because I've seen so much stuff, to me, I found it entertaining, but it was,
It was
I
hilarious.
dare say cute to me. Like I had fun. My poor husband was bored to death. He's like, why the fuck did we just watch this? Like, it was so fucking boring. I thought it was
Yeah.
funny.
It was pretty humorous.
Yeah. And then like you have
Intentionally
X,
or unintentionally, it was funny.
X,
Yeah.
which was good. Pearl, which was good. I mean, there's been a few, but a lot of them, I feel the pacing hasn't been the best.
Right.
This one with the runtime, like it went by quick for me. I feel like something was constantly going on or happening that would progress the story. I didn't feel the lag that A24 usually gets me with. And so I appreciated that. It did remind me of some of the movies I really liked with supernatural elements from the 70s and 80s. Like it had that kind of like underlying creepy, foreboding feel through the whole thing. Like you knew it was not gonna end
Well, for
happily.
anybody. Yeah.
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 Like within 20 minutes in, I was like, yeah, there's no way they're gonna end this, and it's gonna be some bullshit like yay ending. Like it's gonna be, and then I liked the ending. I like that it's this like cycle that kind of continues.
Yeah. It was I mean, I definitely liked how it consistently gave you that tension throughout the whole movie. I thought that was fun. The premise I thought was interesting. For me, it gave me like we talked a little bit earlier, a addiction, like a metaphor for addiction, or much like what was
I
that
don't
one?
even know if it's a metaphor for addiction, just that kids are dumb and are
Well,
like, this is
that
fucking, I mean,
too.
it's definitely addicting, but it's just like,
Yeah.
let's do this dumb shit and see what happens next.
But even for
Because
her,
when you're that age, you're not afraid of shit. But
right,
what's fucked up is after the kid gets hurt, they still don't have a fear of that, really.
right, and that's just
Like,
the
kind of.
partying.
No.
Well, I think for that main character Mia, it was about escape,
Right,
you know,
right,
because I mean they kept coming back to, you know, her mom's death,
right.
suicide question mark, maybe not, like
She was
Well,
trying to get closure too.
Yeah.
I think it was escape and closure because she found a doorway that could give her the answer that she needed.
Right.
And she was ready to do that, obviously,
she was
regardless
she was,
of who it hurt or what
Yeah.
happened, you know?
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
yeah, that's the thing. Like I hated the Babadook, which
I did same. That fucking
Like,
screaming kid. I was so
yeah.
excited to see that, but that fucking scream, I hear it in my nightmares.
But it
And
was
not 'cause
so-
I was scared of the movie.
yeah, it
'Cause
was
I
so
was a
obvious. It
kid.
was a metaphor for mental health and her being, crazy and going through this thing. And then what was that other one? Smile was another one that kind of had that
Well, and the writer of Babadook wrote this with one of the directors.
yeah. So it
Oh,
right away it gave me that feeling, which I'm like, oh, those aren't the best. But it was interesting, and I liked how just tense the entire movie was. Some of the things I didn't like about it, which are just what I don't like about a lot of movies that have kids in them, are the kids. Like they either have to be like young enough to kind of be like funny, like Stranger Things, but once they start getting into like 14 to 19-ish, I'm like, oh, you people
well, they're
are
like the kids
annoying.
now,
Yeah,
aren't they? They feel representative of the exact
exactly.
way that kids
Yeah.
are currently.
Yeah.
which I can't relate to. We can relate to Stranger Things because it just feels like us in the 80s.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
100%. But that's
So-
that's a thing for me in
I
a lot
never
of the
thought
new
I'd be
movies.
that person either, being like the younger generation, but I'm that fucking person. I'm like, I don't get it.
I mean, they all
I
had their
don't.
phones out. They're all TikToking or whatever the new thing is,
Right.
these videos and stuff. I mean, I did enjoy watching them shooting through the phones. There was one moment where it's like instead of
Yeah.
us watching it, we were watching it through the phone, which feels like me at like every other concert when I'm like the short person, where I'm like watching the concert through someone's video because
Yeah.
everyone's constantly videoing. I mean, it felt
Yeah.
very relevant to that.
Totally.
But yeah,
100%.
the kids were annoying.
Yeah. And the other thing,
Yeah.
to me, it also felt like it was two different movies. Like it's as soon as the little brother got possessed, it kind of started going in this direction of we're going to get his soul back or we're going to get him back and we're going to do everything we can. And then it just went back to a story about the main character, the girl who just kind of fucked everything up in the end. And I was like, it gave me a left turn, which I was interested in seeing because it was setting it up so heavy and focusing so much on the brother. And then when it didn't, I was like, blue balled.
I was actually kind of, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that was just like my biggest, like, and then it just kind of got loose towards the end. The ending was fine, like the ending, how it wrapped up. But between that, like, kind of left turn it did, and then trying to get back into her and her dad, and then her mother's suicide or not thing. I'm like, you could have either just made it about that movie and her journey and not really had the whole issue with the brother and them trying to like find the answer, meeting up at the train station and doing all this stuff. It was just kind of like, where do you want to go with this? Because I can't go in this many different directions. But that's me. I'm a simple man. But yeah.
Yeah, one thing I didn't like is a couple of the tropes in the movie. Like, and I know that these movies have that all the time. But so the character that has the hand
Right.
is a trans actor, and that was like they are male currently. And I feel like that movie, they put them in this really kind of like bull dykey trope. And I felt like they could have done a lot better because if you watch some of the like when this movie first came out, they talked about that a lot and how much they wanted him to be a part of this movie and written in. And then when I saw the character, I was a little bummed out that they made it this like kind of bully trope type character.
I mean, that's what I thought. I was like, oh yeah, you're like the butch chick who's
That's what I thought too. And I felt
trying to
like that
bang
was
all the
kind of
chicks.
like
I'm like, yeah, I know that girl, or I've known
well,
that
right.
girl.
And I think even the name, I forget his name, and it was kind of androgynous. And I was like, I felt like it took a little bit of a step.
Was it Haley?
Yeah, that's something
Was it
like
Haley? Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that
So
was
maybe they cast him as a female lesbian. I don't know, but during the press junket, they said he was a he.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's because they said, I mean, I guess, it's fucking 2023, so whatever. But they said she in the movie.
Yeah.
So I just figured it was,
then,
just
okay. Well, then maybe he was playing a lesbian.
Yeah, that's what I got. Because I think
it was weird because the press junket, they really pushed
right
the importance of having a trans actor in the movie. And then I was like, okay.
Yeah. I just thought they were gay.
Same.
I just kind of considered them non-binary, but maybe that's just where my mind goes when I'm a little uncertain.
Yeah, I mean,
and that
totally
actually could be, and that totally could be true too. I actually don't know what the actor identifies. I just know that they marketed it, or in the press they were talking about a trans actor, but I didn't like how generic that character was. I thought that they could have given that character a little bit more depth. I felt like they played into it a little bit too much because all the other characters, I feel like they did a little more tasteful. If this would have been something like I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever, or Scream, where the characters were like super
Right. Pigeonholed,
tropey, I
like,
think it would have been one thing. But in this movie, the only character I really felt like they did it with was that character.
Yeah,
And I don't know
I
why.
can
It
see
just
that.
it put like a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. It's just slightly.
yeah. It
Because
was
when I watched, like I said, when I watched one of the interviews, I was like, wait,
to
what?
me. It was very like early season Roseanne from like the '90s. Like,
I
oh,
can see that.
this is my friend. She's a trucker, and she's all like,
Yeah.
sleeveless van, like cut off
Yeah,
sleeves
yeah, yeah.
on my
Yeah,
flannel, and like, yeah. I was like, yeah, but whatever. I mean, she
totally.
she wasn't as annoying as the lead actress. Like, I hated her. I'm like, God,
Oh, really?
God.
No, see,
Really?
I thought
Yeah,
I didn't mind the lead actress. I mean, she was definitely a wuss, but she
Wait,
went through some shit.
yeah. I mean,
But
it's
she's
just
supposed to be damaged.
right, right.
Right.
That's the thing. And I was like, man, you selfish little brat. You're fucking everything up for everybody. Which I guess maybe could have been the point of that character, since she's the one who got the little brother possessed and fucked up because she
And
just
she's the one who had like the ulterior motives for
right.
doing the whole thing. She wasn't there just for the high. She was like, I want to fucking see my mom.
Well, the thing was when her friend was like, "Don't let little
Oh, I
Billy
know.
do the
Do
thing.
this.
Don't do it." And she's like, "Oh yeah, for sure." And then, like, I get it. We've all been there with friends, little siblings. We're like, "Yeah, I won't. I'll turn my back if you want to take a sip of this beer," or like whatever. At parties. That's
I don't know
whatever.
that that
But
was it. I think that she actually had kind of bad ulterior motives with that.
yeah, I mean, that could have
Did,
been. I was just like, "Oh, you
I think that
suck."
she was really damaged. She was going through some shit, and I think that she had issues with bringing him and him forcing himself to be there. And she was the one that's like, "You keep fucking making yourself show up. Like, you keep
Yeah,
tagging along. Like, go ahead and do it."
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That
she
could have
was
been it.
probably trying to process her own shit and was like, "All right, you're here. Go ahead, see what happens."
Yeah, I could definitely
I
see
mean, I
that.
feel like most older siblings have had that, just not to that level. Like there was stuff my little brothers like constantly nagged at me about doing, and I was kind of like, okay, go ahead. Like I smoke cigarettes. I
Yeah,
remember my brother Laramie being like, come on, just let me, like blah blah, even though he could have stole my mom's or smoked her cigarette butts and tried it himself. And I was finally like, here, go ahead.
right.
He made himself sick. Given that is not like letting a fucking ghost enter your realm and like talk
Yeah.
to you. But
Hey,
like I
best
think it's
friend.
just like that exacerbated that she was like,
Guard my little
And
sibling with your life and don't let anything happen to him.
then I
Okay.
mean the whole thing was fucked up. Her ex-boyfriend's dating her best friend. Like
Yeah.
she's
that
like,
that was so weird. That
Yeah.
whole relationship between the three of them was so yeah,
yeah. Yeah, the whole thing. It was just like
it felt gross a little
it
bit.
was just like
Yeah.
and everything. I mean, even them showing up and doing that and knowing the story of how they got it and the shit that happened, it was literally just kind of stupid
So
slash bad people doing bad shit to each other.
Yeah.
so are we to assume that the dude that had the hand originally knew that those other people killed themselves, or that he knew, right? That the one guy killed his brother and then killed himself?
Yeah,
That's what I got
totally.
out of it. Yeah.
Well, then that was just very foolish on their part to even be
Right.
messing with it.
hmm
Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is like, I mean, it's foolish on their part, but like the other people participating, that's where like kind of those Ouija board stories or Bloody Mary stories come in. Like when you're a kid or teen and people are like, let's do this. Just so you know, someone in the other town over totally did
Yep.
this. And Bloody Mary showed up and killed their mom. And you're like, okay, slumber party, a pillow fight, and then we're going to do Bloody Mary. Like, so it's funny because like as you watch that, you're like, these people are all dumb as fuck. But at the same time, there were always crazy stories about what happened to somebody else or somebody else. And then like at that age, it excited and scared you, but you still did
Stupid
dumb
shit.
shit. But back
Yeah.
then, you also had reality in your head and you knew Bloody Mary wasn't real. You knew the
Right.
Ouija board might not do anything. So I think that kind of plays to how these kids would still maybe do that. They're like, oh yeah, you know,
Sure, they got
Do you-
this
possessed.
happened, but did it?
Right.
Do you guys think that Riley recognized or knew that was Mia's mom? Because he's the only one that didn't react after he grabbed the hand and said that first line.
Yeah, that part was a little confusing.
Yeah.
Because everybody else grabbed the hand and said, "What? Talk to me." And then we immediately saw whatever they saw, and they immediately freaked the fuck out.
Right.
And we didn't,
Yeah.
and we never saw what he saw, and he didn't scream or anything. He just kind of looked shocked.
Yeah. That part was a little confusing to me. And then when she grabbed it, there was something weird too with her, where I thought, okay, well, everyone else saw like the true form of whatever they were looking at, like whatever
Mhm.
spirit, but
Yeah.
it seems like except for them, but we know it wasn't really her mom.
Right.
Yeah. It was some spirit pretending to be her mom, I suppose.
Yeah, I was confused
It
about
gets a
that
little,
part.
that part is, yeah, that part I found confusing.
I mean, I think it was supposed to be like a trickster demon that's like trying to
Yeah.
find a way to relate to the person that calls them. But then it's like, why wouldn't every person who does it have the same sort of tie-in
Ability.
with their life?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just tie-in. Like, why when they come out, are they not like, oh, I just talked to my dead dog, or I talked to my great-grandfather, or I talked to fucking, Napoleon. Like,
It's just whoever
should-
decides to turn up.
right.
Yeah.
Because in the hospital, it was like a little girl.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah, and that's the part of she's like, I'm gonna help you fucking,
Yeah.
solve this mystery. And I'm like, okay, now we're getting into like a crazy Scooby-Doo whodunit ghost story thing.
Yeah.
And then that didn't.
Well,
Yeah.
she gave her insight into hell, quote unquote,
Yeah.
where there was a woman eating a baby,
Yes.
which I didn't
Yep.
notice until like my second watching, and I was like, "Is that a baby being eaten?"
The old
Mhm.
the old gross fat lady was the
Oh, yeah.
Oh God,
yeah.
the makeup was great. They did. Whoever was
Effects were cool.
doing all the special effects was pretty impressive.
Yeah. The effects were great. Cinematography was great.
Yeah.
It was a welcome surprise. Like, it was better than I thought it would be. Because I always go in super skeptical.
I
As you
didn't have
should.
I didn't have any opinion. I saw the trailer twice, and then we
Mhm.
do movie nights sometimes at my house, and we were going to watch something here, and then everyone was like, "This movie's still in the theaters," and we were like, "Oh, it's playing in 30 minutes. Let's just go." But I had no idea what to expect.
Nice.
What
Yeah, I
theater
don't-
did you go to?
Oh, we went to a theater in Richmond, just like one of those like big box theaters, but it's
Right.
never occupied. It's nice. There's never anyone there because like no one goes to the movies in Richmond.
You're pretty ballsy for going to Richmond. I applaud that.
No, it's near the old mall I frequented in my youth. So
Wait, what, Hilltop?
yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's not as bad. Every
That-
time I think of Richmond, I think of like the Iron Triangle.
we didn't go to the Iron Triangle to go to the movies.
Like,
See a whole
right, the
nother
one right
experience.
next to the casino. It's like, oh man, that's
No,
tough.
no, not that far out there. But yeah, $5. My trick is I like to go to the movies at a $5 Tuesday in the afternoon. No one's there,
Good.
and it's $5. It's great.
That's perfect. That is perfect. There's
Yeah.
I've told Juliet about it before, but the Orinda Theater always
Oh.
has like old movies. There's a guy there that puts on like all the old sci-fi and monster movies and stuff like that. So it's usually over the summer, and then like to the end of the year, it'll be like every I think third Thursday or third Saturday of the month. It's some old sci-fi monster movie from the 40s or the 30s or whatever. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So if you get a chance, keep an eye out on that, because you're in a theater is pretty rad. Like I never went
Orinda
to
feels so far.
it. I mean, it kind of is a little bit, but it's worth it. I don't know.
It is a good theater.
It's
It's
super
really
dope theater.
beautiful.
But
Yeah.
anyone else got anything? Should we get to rating?
And then I'm like, I have notes.
Oh yeah, well, get at it.
I think I talked about everything.
Is there anything you didn't
Did
like in particular beside what we talked about already?
I mean, I don't think so. This movie was a pleasant surprise.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't mind like most A24 movies I tend to like, even if they are slower. I know some people kind of I have friends that hate all of them. They're like elevated horror, it's the worst. But it's like I'll watch like a Lars von Trier film. I don't mind a slow burn. It's just gotta like pique my interest a little bit. So
God, Antichrist. Ugh.
oh well, I mean I can't. Yeah,
Only
'cause, you know,
only because I watched that like right after my dog died, and I was like
oh
in full like grieving mode. And I was like, oh, someone said this is a horror movie. And then I was like, why the fuck did somebody recommend this to me? I was like, I want to burn it all down. I'm ready to destroy everything.
one of my closest, dearest friends will never forgive the fact that I took him to see that movie in the theaters because he was super depressed and needed to get out of the house. And I did not know what I was taking him to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I've only seen it once in the theater. I only need to see it once. That one's a special sort of film.
Oh yeah. I will never watch that again. But it did what it was supposed to do to me. Sure did.
Yeah, I remember when you saw that.
Me?
Yeah.
No, it was way before. No.
You mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, this was a long time.
Yeah.
Ago
You mentioned about you like you just went to see it and you were like, dude, that was not the movie that I should have saw.
So it was funny because like that was the only time in my life that I ever almost read a self-help book, and my friend gave me a book on the stages of grief and how to get through them. And it was so funny because I was like laying in my cocoon of a bed. Like I hadn't even put the sheets on my bed. I literally was so depressed. I was just like rolled up in my sheets and blanket and had my laptop on the side of my bed and was looking for movies to download and pirate. And someone told me about that. So I did. And I was eating like
borrow movies to borrow.
Yeah. I mean, it's so long ago. Yeah. And I was eating like a like cold leftovers and just like, like done with life as much as someone who had never killed themselves would be. And I had that book on my bedside table and I was like, maybe I should
that
read
government?
It. I was like,
Oubliette would never unalive herself.
I wouldn't. So if anything fucking happens, I was murdered. I was murdered. Murdered. Hear that? Murdered. Anyways, I remember being like, I should read that. And I was like, no, I'm gonna like drink the rest of this wine that's probably old and watch this movie. And literally the credits rolled and I like shut the laptop, like threw all the blankets off my bed and like took them to the washer because I just like felt gross. And I took that fucking book and I just like hucked it out in my backyard. I don't know why. I ended up later like picking it back up and putting it in the trash. But I was just like, I just went through all the stages screaming like, God damn it.
Oh my God, seriously though. Whoa.
Yeah, I think we actually talked about that a little bit on one of the episodes a while ago.
I don't even know why we would make that movie.
Yeah, but
I could talk about a couple like really nerdy things.
Yeah.
Like the whole entire opening sequence, I found it delightful that it was just one continuous shot. They talk about that in like The Third Man. And same with the scene at the end in the hospital after she gets hit by the car.
I have another one on that note. The montage of them doing the hand thing in the beginning, after they first do it, and it shows them all doing it. They shot that in less than an hour. All of those scenes with all of those ghosts.
They shot the whole movie in 5 weeks.
That's awesome. I mean,
wow. The whole thing?
Pretty good for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
5 weeks. Yeah. It's impressive. Also, he didn't hit his head on a real table. It was foam.
But still.
Yeah. And they they put a second face over his face for that scene because when he like goes to grab at his own eye.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that part is so gross.
That was really
It was
gnarly.
awesome. Even him in the hospital,
Yeah.
when you
Oh.
just see his face, dude, he's so fucked up.
Or when he's hitting his head off the was it the wall or the floor?
The wall in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, the minute she got hit by the car, he was all fine though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of
That's
a sudden, it was just healed. Poof, magic.
Movie magic.
That's
what
the
happened.
only thing that felt very unbelievable to me. It was like, wait, how is he like completely all the way better now? So
Right.
maybe time passed and I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I think maybe it was like going to the future. I don't know. It had to have been. It had
That was
to have
that
been.
was the 5 weeks right there. They're like, we just make him better to get him. It's fine. No one will know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they did a great job. If they can pump movies out like this in 5 weeks and like use those kinds of practical effects, I think that I'm curious to see what they're going to do next
Yeah, definitely.
because it was fun.
Yeah, and it wasn't 3 hours long.
Thank fucking God. Stop making 3 hour long movies. Stop it. Stop. Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Stop.
They never will.
All of you.
Yeah.
There was
Really?
some fucking news article that popped on my feed from Zack Snyder talking about how funny he thinks it is when people ask if there's going to be a Zack Snyder cut of something. And he's like, I didn't know it'd be such a big thing. He's like, it's really flattering. And I'm like, we're not flattering you. No one is flattering
not
you,
anyway, yeah.
sir.
Ugh.
The only good 3 hour plus movies are the original 3 Lord of the Rings. Just saying.
Those are great.
And
I
that
like
mom-
Braveheart.
Did you
Braveheart's good.
Did you guys recognize that mom? I had to look her up, and then I figured out that the reason why I thought she looked familiar was because she is from Lord of the Rings.
No, I didn't.
She's Eowyn,
Which
the one that
Oh,
says
yeah.
the one that says like I am no man or something.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the thing about
Yeah.
the Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings.
No, I
movie-
did know that. She's also in the new Sabrina show, and
Oh,
she
right.
is-
That's where I recognize her from.
she is in a TV
Mhm.
show that I finished last night, a miniseries about a cult in Australia called The Family.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I forget what the show is called, but it's Guy Pearce and her and a couple
Oh.
other pretty big names. And I watched all 8 episodes in 2 nights because I love my cults. And it was pretty good.
You do love your cult
Oh, cool.
type stuff.
I
But yeah,
do.
the Lord of the Rings stuff. I mean, they don't feel like 3 hours
No.
or overdue. I mean, there's just so much shit going on from the beginning. It may lull, a scene here or there, but most of the time there's just shit going on, so you're entertained the entire time. But
Apparently they were insistent on having her in that role and making people more aware of how great of an actress she was, that I think she was the highest paid actor on this film.
I mean, I
Like
would assume.
they put a good chunk of money towards getting her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she would.
I loved her in the new Sabrina.
Yeah, she didn't do a bad job. I don't think this is necessarily the movie to showcase.
To showcase her acting abilities.
Yeah, I mean, she did fine, but I wasn't like,
It's
oh my
called The
God.
Clearing. The TV show is called The Clearing.
Okay.
Clearing. After I'm done
You get-
watching this other cult show.
Mhm. There's a lot of them. This
Yeah.
one's interesting though. They're in Australia and she just like decides to start a cult after her husband and her divorce, and it's a mostly true story, but they make it more interesting. But yeah, Guy Pearce is a scientist. They just fucking take these kids and bleach their head like hair, like Village of the Damned, and like
Right.
beat the fuck out of them and make them obedient. It was interesting.
Make them get them
Wow.
a beer. Get me a beer.
And they drug them to transcend.
of
What?
course,
Wild.
naturally.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
How else would you get them to?
I was
transcend?
listening about the real story today on some podcast.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
All right, I think it's time to rate this movie out of 5 ghostly, hand jobby candy corns. Since you're our guest, Nikki, we'll slide it over to you, and you can go first.
I mean, I'm gonna give it 5
Ooh.
ghostly hand jobs.
Who doesn't like a ghost hand job? All right.
Not-
Wow. Nikki came in hot.
I
Okay.
like it. I liked it a lot. I mean, I've seen it 3 times now. So,
Okay. Well, I will not argue with that. Oubliette,
What'd you give it?
she gave it a 5.
I gave it a 5.
Hmm.
I really liked it.
I really liked it. And when I first started out doing this podcast, I rated things very high and then quickly lowered my ratings. Not so much, but enough. And then E just like, because they're so low. I
shit
will
on
give it-
everything.
Hey, didn't I tell you that? Nikki
Uh-huh.
was like, I'm so excited to talk about this. And I was like, just so you know, E may shit on it. I actually think I said exactly that.
She
Yeah.
did say exactly that, and I was really
Mhm.
excited to hear you talk about it after that.
hmm
Yeah.
And actually, surprisingly, Mommy and Daddy didn't fight yet on this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. There was no
Did
They seemed
we?
fighting.
fine.
No, there was no
Hmm,
fighting.
That's true.
We played nice.
I am going to. We do that. Yeah, it's on and off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it like a solid 3.75, which is
That's pretty
good.
good. That's real good.
It's real good for E. It's
Yeah.
good, solid for me.
Well, with that being said, now I have to bring this average down because that's what I do.
And
around here.
I gave Thanksgiving what, a 4?
Yeah. I could.
Whoa, a 4.
Yeah, you gotta
I
watch
mean-
Thanksgiving.
I'm gonna watch it in about 20 minutes.
There you go.
There you go.
I, on the other hand, while I thought some things were done well, I was not like a huge fan of this movie at all. Mostly because of the kids. Like I just
He hates
hate
the youth. Oh,
I just hate the
I was
youth.
gonna say it before you said it. He hates
Yep.
the youths.
the hey, I hate the youth.
I hate the youths.
Oh,
The
bada
youths
bing,
these days. Bada bing bam.
spaghetti. I do. I hate him. And just the weird looseness towards the
Pasta
end.
fajoule.
Oh, gabagool. It just bugged me too much. So I'm giving it 1.75.
Did you just say it had a loose bow?
Yeah.
What?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Ghost hand jobby candy corns.
1.75.
Oh
1
my
3/4.
god.
Well, you're not getting a ghost
Oh
now.
No, with that
Yeah.
attitude.
no.
Yeah.
No ghosts are touching that dick.
Yeah.
Done.
If you were to replace the kids with actual people and adults,
Yeah, but then the youth wouldn't watch it. It's all
Right,
about
right.
the youth right now.
it is
Hey,
100%.
E, you should respect this. We're trying to groom the youth.
Yeah.
We've
I
got to
mean-
groom
Hey,
them
we don't
into
say
loving
grooming.
horror.
Yeah.
I can't use the term grooming.
I'm joking. No. It's me being facetious that we're trying to groom the youth.
I mean, for kids of this era, like the whatever that age is, Zillennials or whatever weird name they're giving the kids nowadays, I could
Children.
Yeah, sure. They would probably love it and be interested
And-
in like,
They probably relate. They're like, I make
100%,
videos
yeah.
of everything too.
yeah. And like I said, I like some of the ideas about it, but it's just
And I like doing dumb shit.
dumb shit
That's
is
what they
fun
would
sometimes.
think. No,
I
I
mean-
don't like. No, me. I don't.
I mean, no, even old asses
I don't
like doing dumb
admit to.
shit.
Of course, I do dumb shit when I play shows, and that's about it. Because other than that, I had to be like the boss.
An adult.
Ugh. And when
yeah,
I do
it
the
was-
podcast, I say dumb shit.
Yeah, for me, I was just not too into it, and that is what it is. Fucking brats.
Yeah, he
It's
doesn't like
okay.
slashers. He doesn't like youths.
Yeah,
don't like
Ghosts
slashers?
are
depends on
meh.
the slash. They're not my favorite.
Wait, then what do you like?
Oh, he's enraging. He likes fucking like
monster movies. I like a monster. Like
Monster movies. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
really big on the Universal stuff, really big on the old sci-fi horror B movies of the 50s.
he likes monster
Zombies.
movies and Elvis
I do. And GG
and
Oh.
donuts and donuts.
I really love
That's
donuts.
cool.
Yeah.
I like donuts and
Yeah.
Elvis
Yeah.
and a monster movie. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's
He's
like,
he's a simple man.
Yeah,
You just
I
gotta
am.
make him happy, you know?
some
Give him some
slashers.
donuts and bacon and
Right.
fucking Frankenstein,
Oh,
and he's
bacon.
good.
I can dig on some slashers, but it's got to kind of have like a supernatural element. Just can't be like, oh, I'm a angry guy or girl that's
Like
going to get
Krueger?
revenge. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah, Freddy
like Freddy
Krueger,
Krueger. Okay.
Jason. You know, I mean, I do like the original Friday the 13th a lot, even though that was the mother. But I think it was just an interesting
Wait,
movie.
but so
One through
what about
4.
like Last House on the Left?
Ooh.
To me, those. I mean, that's not really a slasher, though. That's just
It's not a slasher.
It's
That's
not a slasher, but it's bad
that's,
people doing bad things,
yeah.
and it is not supernatural.
right. So I mean, that's just bad people doing bad stuff.
That's just like rapey horror.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I like rapey horror.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, but
I don't know.
There's-
You might.
The term is escaping me now, but yeah, there's a term for those.
right, more of like an
Like
exploitation.
I spit on
type.
your
Like
grave.
I spit on your grave. Ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it's just like, while I thought Thanksgiving was fun, it was still just like a regular guy in a mask. Well,
Don't tell me
Was
anything.
it?
Yeah,
Was it?
I don't want to know.
yeah.
Wait, have you guys done Bodies?
We did.
Oh yeah.
Did you hate that one? There's some kids in there.
So there was one
did.
thing I loved, and that was the elder that was
Right.
like, "Yeah, I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
flashlight and a map. Could you invite me out in the middle of the woods?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that would be me, and they would fucking kill me. They would kill me. I would be dead. If Christian and I get divorced, I cannot date someone younger and go to a party out in the middle of nowhere because they would kill me thinking I was a murderer."
Yep.
Because you're too prepared. Too prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd talk about star hopping, and they'd be like, "Ugh, you're a witch,"
Okay.
and
I
I'd
feel
be
like
Maybe
like, and I'd
toast.
be like, "Yeah."
I feel like this movie and that movie were made for the same
Generation. Yeah,
demographic. Yeah.
totally. Yep. And it's
Sure.
missed me. I'm like, "Brr, get off my lawn." Brr. But that average is a 3.5, which is
This
high.
soup isn't hot enough. Take it back to the kitchen.
I'm cold. Turn up the heat. I'm too hot now. Turn it down.
Your coffee mugs got smaller since last time I was here.
Yeah. Which
Mhm.
did we ever talk about?
Oh, God. Oh God, it happened.
I mean, everything's gotten smaller, but a lot of times people are like, "Well, it's just because you remember it as a kid and you were smaller, so it was bigger in your hand." But the Cadbury eggs have literally gotten smaller. Like
Your hands
half
are
the
getting
size.
bigger, sweetie.
No.
The
What's his
goldfish
name?
bags aren't as full as they used to be.
Right.
That's true.
The
And
one.
the cereal ounces have changed, but they've thickened the boxes. So when you pick them up, they feel thicker.
Yep.
So you don't realize that they're way shorter and it doesn't make sense.
Yep. What's
Bastards.
his name? He was on The Office. Josh something. Who played Josh? He was dating Mandy on the show for a minute.
Josh? Who
I
played
don't-
Josh?
Yeah, I can't remember.
The intern?
Yeah.
Wait, who?
The
Yeah.
intern.
Are you talking about Mindy?
No. The guy that was dating
Mandy.
Mindy.
What?
Yeah. The guy that was dating her, who was the other intern that Michael
There's
was
no-
always Mindy, not Mandy, but he was on Conan O'Brien once years ago.
Josh Porter.
Yeah. And he was like, he made this big thing. He's like, I've been fucking complaining about this for years. And he brought out a current Cadbury egg. I was like, all right, this is the thing. And he was like, I went on eBay and
Oh my
found
God.
an old Cadbury egg from like the 80s.
You're talking about the UK office. That's why.
No. The American one.
No, Josh Porter is from the UK.
Or maybe
one.
not. Maybe it's not Josh Porter.
Or maybe it's. Oh no!
BJ Novak?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Novak. Yeah.
That's who he's talking about.
So he brought this other one. He's like, I fucking paid however much money for this stupid fucking egg just to prove because I know I wasn't going fucking crazy. And he put it
my
next to
God.
the egg, and it was literally twice the size. I was like, I fucking knew it. I knew those things were getting way smaller, but that's just how things.
No, this is the Josh character from The Office.
Oh, what was his name in it?
You're talking
You're
about
thinking
BJ
of someone
Novak.
else. Yeah.
BJ. Yeah. But wasn't his name Josh in the
No.
Office?
Ryan.
Brian
Ryan?
Howard.
Okay. I knew it was just like some generic white dude name, Josh Ryan. Yeah. But yeah.
Are you
I don't-
talking about Jim Halpert? Jim?
No,
Jim
no,
who
no,
dates
no.
Pam?
BJ Novak. It was
Okay.
BJ
All right.
Novak, yeah. But yeah. Things are smaller, so yeah,
How to make that
Well.
money.
for sure.
And Cadbury is now all made in the US.
See, there you go.
This is
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
And British people are pissed about it.
Well, I'm waiting for the Running Man presidential election. Um,
I'm clapping
We're clapping.
because I'm so excited about that. It's gonna happen before I fucking die. Before I die. If not, I'm just gonna make it happen. I'm gonna be this like elderly, whatever age person right before I die. I'm not gonna manifest that right now. But I'm gonna be
Yeah.
there with my cane or walker and just like pay some like random people in the street money to reenact Running Man for me so I can feel validated before I die.
Well, this is timestamped, so I think we should get some royalties somehow.
oh,
Yeah.
sure.
And not Stephen King who wrote that.
Well, he didn't have politicians. We came up with the politician thing.
Stephen King has enough money. He's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's
He's
true.
okay.
Yeah. Or we could be like executive
Yeah.
producers on it. I think that would work.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely work on that show. I would
Yeah.
take any job other than killer or be killed because I'm too old for that shit.
That's right, Danny Glover.
But I would be the sniper that just like killed people if they were about to win because
unalive.
we don't want them to win because
you would unalive.
we don't
people.
want them to win on Running Man.
I can be that
That's right.
guy.
See?
I'll be the
Wait, you
sniper.
want to be the sniper? I want to be. That's what I said. Okay, we can both be snipers.
Yeah. We'll
Because
Cool.
honestly, if we get like child rapists on this show, like we're not going to let them win.
No.
We are going to pull a real Running Man and we're going to sniper them and then use the Googles and computers and make it look like some fucking crazy person
Well-
killed them that was part of the show that really wasn't.
we'll hash this
And then we
all
can
out
emotion.
at the board meeting, everybody.
Then we can emotionally what?
Scissor.
Oh yeah. And then we'll all emotionally scissor and cheers.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to end this. Thanks, Nikki from
Oh, thank
Middle Aged
you.
Queers, for coming on and talking about Talk to Me and for giving the high score to bump up this average to a 3.5 candy corns. So, yeah.
You and your fucking low ass scores.
I did my
There have been-
best to bring it down.
There
but-
have been so many piles of shit, and this was way better than
Oh,
All the
well, invite
piles of
me
shit.
back to bump up all the low scores for you.
There you go.
or
Yeah,
perhaps
anytime.
we'll bring you back to do a movie you truly hate.
Yeah.
And we could be the ones to bump up the score.
Yeah. You never know.
I mean, there are movies I hate. It's true. Some. I didn't really like The Boogeyman that much.
Yeah,
That was
Stephen
so
King,
fucking.
I loved it.
We did not do that
we didn't
one.
do that. We were
We
going
might-
to.
There's no need.
And we may, but
We
yeah,
may.
that movie pissed me off so fucking bad. I
Yeah.
was so into it for the first 30 minutes, and then god damn it, I wanted to fucking rip every eyeball, everything,
But-
ears off my head. I
We
was
talked
so
about
upset.
it in a horror news. And,
Oh yeah, that's right. We did a doubler.
yeah, yep. And then Oubliette sends me a text after she watches. She was like, "Just don't. I mean, do it if you want, but yeah, no. I was like, all right.
Apparently, Stephen King loved it
Well,
and thought it was a good representation.
I mean,
of the
he's
short
so
story.
fucking old. He's
Yeah.
so old. He
And
could
you
not
know-
have seen those fucking graphics the last 40 minutes of that movie.
as creepy
Ugh.
and fucked up as coked
I would have
out.
given negative candy corn.
Yeah. As creepy and as fucked up as coked out drunk Stephen King was, he was more exciting. And, you know, I would valued his
That's
opinion
true.
more when he was in
That's
that
true.
era. Now he's just old, and I think he just says
I
shit
feel
just to
like
say it.
maybe he's not as creative
Yeah.
when he's sober. Maybe we
Yeah.
all like turned up Stephen King, and real Stephen King just sucks.
Maybe.
Because that fucking movie, I was so fucking excited to see it. The trailer was so fucking good, and then it just like literally
She was
shit
excited.
down my throat.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
Yep.
And then I
Oh,
was
my
so appalled. My poor husband, because of course I dragged him to the movies with me, and I was like squeezing his arm when it happened. And he looked at me at one point and was like, "We can just leave." And I was like, "No, I'm going to see this out. I'm going to see it out." And he's like, "Great." I'm like, "I'm sorry. You can leave if you want, but something has to change."
I'm making it through.
And then the
Oh,
credits
God.
rolled, and he's like, "Nope, just got worse." And I was like, "I don't want to talk right now. I need to decompress." Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thanks
So
everyone.
again,
for
candy
tuning in.
killers,
That's it.
don't watch the boogeyman. Don't fucking watch the boogeyman unless you want to fucking get angry. And if you're a youth, talk to me. And if you're a not youth and like good movies, watch it too. And if you're a G, don't watch it again.
That's it for this episode of Monster Candy Podcast, everyone. See you later.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Groovy.
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight? We don't have to be mean.
Yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.